And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Black Twitch League. I'm going to be one of your casters today, WookieMonster. I'm joined by Celio. How's it going, bud? Oh, I have a audio issue. Hold on one second. I don't know how that happened, but give me one moment just to fix that. I guess I can't hear you. Alright, try now. Let's see.
Hello.
There we go. Now I hear you. Alright.
It has been quite the week for myself. How about you?
It's been okay. It's been okay. We're here with two teams. We got Fantastic Four and Zarathai, and we also have Iron Chef.
Iron
Uh,
Chefs,
yep,
yes.
and it's gonna be a banger. I think these rosters are looking spicy. I mean, we got some Master player, we got some Diamond players, we got a whole mix of people. So yeah, bands are kind of going through. We got some Tryndamere, Nocturne. I didn't expect those, but I guess
You
enlighten me.
know,
Are these some targeted bans, or are these just like they don't want to face them?
these are target bans. In fact, the Tryndamere in particular has been banned away from JS Method. After looking over his OP.GGs over the multiple accounts he has, my man has played about 700 ranked games as Tryndamere this season.
Ah, wow, that is a lot. And I think that split pushing has been sort of the mainstay of recent times, and I think that's fair enough to ban it out. But they are gonna first pick Seraphine on FFNZ. We've seen this time and time again. I think like almost every series that we've seen them, they have picked Seraphine in at least one of the drafts. So
It's
this,
actually funny. In
yeah.
almost every series I've watched in general, Seraphine has been picked either first or second pick or has been banned. There's only one game out of every set that I've seen that Seraphine just slid by.
Wow. Well, this one is no different, and they're gonna respond with Victor. I think that's a fair first blind pick. He kind of fulfills a couple different roles depending on how you play him. They're gonna follow it up with a Mumu on the side of Iron Chefs. You looking team fight, looking massive, like a massive team fight. Scaling sort of composition here. So, what should Fantastic Four respond with?
The one thing that I see open here that I think Fantastic Four needs to pick up is the Hecarim wasn't banned yet. Hecarim is really strong of a carry right now across all the games. His nerfs haven't gone through yet. So right now at this stage of the game, Hecarim is a menace, and 4M plays Hecarim, and we've seen him pick it quite a bit. Instead, they opt to go for the Akali. Now, Chobin has been a monster on this Akali.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, we've seen this sort of setup too from FFNZ, and it's just gonna be a lot of good fights going on into the later stages of the game already, as I can see. We're gonna get to the second ban phase. We got some top laners, some supports that we can ban out on either side here. So yeah, there it's kind of like, okay, we're just gonna go brawler on brawler kind of fight. It's whoever gets the advantage first in the mid game here, and kind of scales up to late game. I do think that sort of this Sejuani synergizes well with these melee champs, so maybe they could throw a ban out to some really good top laner picks right now. Um,
Which
and
is exactly what it looks like they're gonna do as they hover the Kled, and they do lock that in. Now, Iron Chefs also, I don't know if you see that, but they banned the Ashe away from Chalupa. Chalupa has landed impeccable Ashe arrows
oh
throughout
yeah,
this entire tournament. And so it is a crucial ban for them just to get rid of that, because Chalupa can aim. He
yeah.
can go crazy. But another thing I want to talk about is just in these first three picks of Iron Chefs, you can see that they are aiming for those strong team fights. The Victor is one of those solo carries that it's okay to blind pick in, but then you have the Amumu and the Sivir that are all going to be looking for those team fights. And the Sivir paired with the Victor to give him that movement speed on top of his already kiting potential
Mm-hmm.
it's a fantastic pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They're gonna start with Scion here in the top lane. So they're leaving counter pick maybe to the jungler. I mean, we know that Amumu can be flex support. Amumu Sivir is a pretty decent combo in and of itself. It lands, if you land the advantage toss, you can land the boomerang right on top of that. So I like this coming out from Iron Chefs. They have a pretty good hidden selection here, but looks like FFNZ are going to go for just raw damage with the Irelia. Let's see what they back it up with for an ADC. I feel like it has to be, one of the stronger ADCs. Maybe a Caitlyn could be good with Seraphine. Maybe something like Vayne to counteract the tankiness that's on the other side. Uh, but yeah, this is looking to be two spicy drafts. Oh, wait a minute!
That might be a
Oh,
Seraphine
that
ADC.
is definitely
That is definitely
that
a
is definitely.
Seraphine
All
ADC.
right, talk to me about that. That's interesting. I like this.
Now, Seraphine ADC, if you don't know, has a 53.47% win rate. It is a very good counter pick. It has the Encore. It's got a lot of raw scaling that just makes Seraphine pretty good in the bot lane. Now, if you always want to look for mages, there's nothing better than Seraphine. Right now, Vigar is struggling a lot in the bot side, and then you look at the other mages that go down there, like Syndra, who right now is feeling really weak. You're waiting for that mid-scope update on Syndra. So, for now, Seraphine is just so powerful of a pick in that bot side. I wonder how it's going to do against the Sivir.
Yeah, I wonder too. It's gonna be interesting, and I feel like this is really down to the late game, right? Seraphine really good, in terms of farming, can actually like clear waves pretty easily. But if Sivir and Alistar could put the pressure on, I mean, Sivir is a pushing monster, right? So they're gonna have bot prio for the beginning of the game, and I feel like that's where Amumu can come in and make sure that they get as many dragons as possible. Because I feel like I don't know, I feel like the late game team fight coming up from FFNZ is gonna really take effect during the late stage. You got the Encore, you got the Bola, that you have the Maokai route. Like it's just that's a lot of stacking CC on top of CC.
Yeah, definitely. I can see a lot of picks coming up from FFNZ. So right now, my question is the ward game. Who is going to win the vision game here? Because if IC places down enough vision, they can make sure they never get caught here.
Yeah, I do agree. And speaking of vision, I mean, we have a pretty, we have a top lane heavy. I'm assuming this Irelia is going top lane. They could change it up, make a Kali go top. I'm not sure what the deal might be. But whatever lane Irelia is in, if Irelia gets ahead even a little bit, I feel like this is a dangerous game that Iron Chefs will be playing, right? Because they have to work around Irelia. It's their only source of AD damage that they have to be wary of on the other side. So it's definitely going to be, can we shut her down? And if we do we just stack MR for the rest of the game?
That is the question. And they picked Scion first. And Irelia is a counter pick to Scion because whenever she dashes, she ends up behind Scion. So
Right.
Scion's Q kind of falls on nobody. This is going to be a situation of can Cobra push that lead?
Yeah, looks like Cobra is going to be picking up the Irelia here in the client draft. So it's, yeah, I feel like it's really gonna be like, hey, like, do we just let Scion, kind of just build armor, sustain the lane, just leave him alone up in the top island, or are we gonna focus down this Irelia and get the other team to make some choices on how do we navigate the mid game, the late game without having a setup Irelia for this late game scaling, right? Because that is what it's going to be about. It's going to be these late game team fights. Chopin we've seen on Akali a couple of times now, right? So expecting Chopin to go pretty even in the lane during the early stages, and then kind of pop off during the mid game, right? To start roaming with Sejuani. All three of those top side like champions on the side of Fantastic Four and Zarathai are really good at just helping Sejuani get through the early stages.
Definitely, and as I mentioned, Chobin has been a highlight reel on the Sakali. I have seen him take out people multiple levels ahead of him and way more fed than him, and he manages to take them out in spectacular fashion. So right now, I think eyes are going to be on top and mid mainly. We have to see how Cobra plays this against Badit, and we have to see how Chobin plays this against Method. I think bot lane is going to play relatively safe. Sivir likes to farm in the early game from a distance, and Seraphine doesn't like those early game fights.
Right.
So I think bot lane is going to be a slow scaling match, whereas mid and top is going to be pretty bloodthirsty.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice first game. I mean, we had a really intense first game, I think, last time I casted, which was last week. So I'm expecting a lot of, great playmaking, great decision making from both of these teams. I hope it is a good game. Is there a lane, or is there like a lane you're like kind of like hoping that really like we want to look at?
It's not a lane, but I think it's going to be these junglers.
Okay.
Between the Sejuani and the Amumu, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they force these ganks and how they get their lanes ahead.
Right, and I mean, like, because if a Mumu like fails a gank, that allows Sejuani to kind of like pick up the pace and be like on par. Like, hey, like I'm gonna gank this other lane in response to this, or I'm gonna pick up this objective on the other side of the map. Right? It's all about the response, the give and take coming out from the junglers. I mean, they're both tanks. They both want to get into these mid game team fights. So, really early game is gonna be crucial in setting up the rest of their teammates for making excellent plays. Looking forward to that. Okay, final question though before we go to the break. Which team do you think is going to take game 1?
Uh, that is a hard decision because Calabina is so good at punishing map objectives. Meanwhile, 4M is so good at making ganks happen. So it's going to be a really tough decision, but if I had to give it to one team, I think FFNZ has a little bit stronger of a draft. They're on more comfortable champions, and I think that FNZ just has the slight edge here.
All right. Well, I am going to have to agree with you. I think they have the slight edge. They managed to get the Seraphine again, which we've seen is so strong in their draft. It's probably one of their most crucial parts. But we have to see because gameplay is what makes all the difference here. And we're gonna get into game 1 shortly. Before we go to a break, I think it's important to say that there's a lot of like team fight comps lately, and I feel like I've seen it every week so far. I've casted this series, so I'm looking forward to it. But we're gonna go to a quick break. Once we're back, we'll have game 1 of a Fantastic Four and Zarathai versus Iron Chefs. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to Black Twitch League. I hope you all are ready for as wonderful a
30
match as we
seconds
have
until
laid out
minions
for you today.
spawn.
We have Fantastic Four and Zarathai on blue side versus Iron Chefs on red side. And joining me, as usual, is Wookie.
Hey, yeah, this is gonna be a great game. I think. I mean, there's a lot of good skins in the game. I think that's important. So gotta love it. Gotta love it. The KDA Collie represent. Let's go.
KDA Akali. I mean, I remember when that skin came out. Oh,
Yeah.
you
Minions have
saw that in
spawned.
every game. It was
Oh
everywhere.
yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, and starting off with a good, yeah, they got a ward on the side of FFNZ. So already good start for that Akali. It's a small experience lead, but in my experience, even the smallest of leads, helps out at least ever so slightly, and I think that's important, especially when you're on chaotic characters such as Silas or Kali. So, hey,
You know, I have to say, I believe this is the first Alistar we've seen in this entire series. Correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, but that just makes it all the more exciting to look at. Alistar manages to always find his way deep into those fights and always manages to stay alive thanks to the ultimate, the stun, the pulverize, you know what I mean?
yeah,
This is gonna be so cool to look at, honestly. I wanna see Zeus really pull this out and show to us that Alistar is still something to worry about.
yeah, I agree. Like, I don't ever really see Alistars, and he's an underrated champion. I think that the simplicity of him was why like a lot of people are like, I don't want to play this. He's too predictable, but at the same time, like he's got really good tanky stats. He's got a lot of setup. He does what the team composition wants to do, and we see that here they hit level 2 on the bottom side of the map. So um, they're not really doing too much with it, but kind of expect to see the Cool Crab and Zoo kind of push the lane in, get Prio for the early
Oh.
dragons. Oh,
And there's that EXP difference you were talking about. Chobin manages to hit level 3,
yeah.
manages to go in, and that was very well played by Chobin, taking a very good trade, and now Method is playing on the back foot.
Yeah, just for a little bit, and that's all that counts. It's all a mind game, you know. We gotta, League of Legends, as much as it's kind of tied to skill with the champion, all sorts of things. I think that having the mental fortitude to know, like, hey, like if I get this small experience lead and hit level whatever first, I'm gonna take advantage of that because that's small leads. Small leads stack up, so I like that sort of
Especially
mentality.
when you're on those assassins.
Yeah,
Assassins always look for that small advantage. And
yeah.
then looking around at the rest of this map, we can already see that Badit is having a little bit of a tough time against the Aurelia in the top side.
Yeah, does not have a lot of armor statistics right now, but I expect to see an early Bramble Vest maybe come out from him. It's a very good item against Irelia, who often takes Blade of the Rune King first. So I'm hoping that comes out. It's kind of it's a good response to it. We do see that Cobra is pushing in here on the top side. Has a nice I guess freeze for Badit though, so not too bad. Could be worse.
You know, I hope this is just my low elo talking, but I don't often see Minion Dematerializer on Scion.
Yeah, I think
I
it's because he has good clear with his Q, right? You can. Oh,
yeah.
wait a minute.
Ooh, the flash forced out by JS Method there, but 4M also flashed in order to make that happen.
Yeah, that was manly male mailman. Did actually spend a lot of time in that bush. Definitely, took a chance and is now really behind on CS department. So they had to try something, but at the same time, I think it was just the wave
Ooh,
wasn't in the right position. Cobra taking a lot of
Badit
damage there.
taking a
Jeez.
very good trade there. Badit found himself in a pretty good situation. He had the wave to back him up there, so he was able to pump out a lot of free damage there.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, talking about Badit in general, I think the Minion Dematerializer is a very good pickup here because you're against Irelia. You're forced to play a little bit on the back foot as it is. So getting
Right.
that extra damage to fast clear those waves, hopefully in a single Q, is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. And now he's finding himself kind of, you know, building a little bit more aggro as we see the Bomby Cinder come out. I think he's gaining that confidence, right? He took a good trade. He actually was able to push the wave in. So, opposite of what we expected. I mean,
By
it's
the
looking
way,
good.
I do want to point out in the mid lane there, when Chobin went on to JS method, Calabina flashed Q'd over the wall, and sadly it missed.
Oh, wow.
And that is why Calabina is without flash at the moment. Meanwhile, in the top side, Batted
Ooh.
taking another great trade with Cobra there, and he looks to end it a little bit before they can look to turn that, but in the mid lane, Chobin has found his way onto JS method, flashes over the Chaos Storm, 4M is following. Oh, but Calabina found his way into that fight and manages to pick up first blood. 4M getting the return kill onto JS method, but now it is Calabina versus 4M. Cobra has managed to find his way down into the fight, manages to land the stun. It looks like he's in there, but Sion comes from nowhere! That is a double kill! Batted!
Huge.
You
Oh my
are
God.
amazing!
Wow. That was really great communication coming out on the side of Iron Chefs. They had to like be like, okay, Amumu, just come to me. And Bandit took it into say, like, that was a perfect ult. I don't think there was any flashes available on the side of FFZ, so that was free 2 kills for him.
I saw Cobra walk down, and then I hear Sion from left field, "Cower!" And I'm like, what is that? And then, bam, he's in that fight, manages to find himself a double kill. He is at such an advantage right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be looking pretty for Sion. One who scales just as... Oh, Chobin stealing away the Scuttle Crab. Not what you want to see. Calabina taking an L there, but I mean, it's small. I remember when Scuttle Crabs used to be like the make or break of games.
Oh yeah, literally
it
it gave so much gold, so much experience back in those days. But now we're talking about what just happened, and I have to... Oh, this dive looks like it might happen. Oh, no, manages to push that back. Zoo dropping to half health, but they get a little bit of an advantage there. Both junglers have found themselves bot side, so this might be an engage coming out here soon. Meanwhile, top side, Bandit is looking to push Cobra back a little bit. Does manage to get Cobra to Q throughout the entire wave. Cobra dancing around that very nicely, and it looks like he wants to keep this fight going.
Oh, no.
But JS Method might have found himself a little out of position, drops the Chaos Storm, but nowhere to go with the perfect execution. The Bolo finally manages to come out. Calabina lands the bandage toss. The flash boomerang by Cool Crab does manage to pick that kill up. Now 4M is forced on the retreat. We do have another bandage toss coming up here soon, but it might not be needed as 4M drops, and Zooport does manage to pick that kill up.
Wow, what a series of events, right? You know, it seems that the JS Method is not having the game that he wants, but the team is backing him up and making sure that they pick up the response kills. Oh, that was that almost interrupted that back. But yeah, it's really crucial that Amumu and this bot side kind of take control of the dragon areas, and that's what they're doing. I think that's a beautiful play, and hopefully they continue this lead that they have. They almost have almost a 3K gold lead.
And you know, we talked about JS Method not really having the best of games at this moment, but I have to say, without those augments, ooh, Bandit forced the flash in the top side because he found himself just a little too deep under that tower. JS Method isn't really much of a champion yet on Victor. He doesn't have those augments through just yet. After that last support in that last fight he had, I think, yeah, he still does not have enough for the death ray.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he has 4 assists. So, what? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has 4 assists.
About that. Yeah.
25 per stack makes sense. Goes to 100. He doesn't have enough for his Q though, which will be a next kind of upgrade in his arsenal there.
Oh, Calabina manages to land the blind bandage toss. That was beautiful, the follow-up bandage toss.
Oh.
Just not enough. 4M has now found his way into this fight. It looks like he's going to be focused on JS Method, managing to get the freeze in there. The smite comes down, but nowhere else to go. The Chaos Storm is following close behind, and now we see the bot laners are coming into the fight as Zarathai lands a very nice encore. Su's support is just a little bit too deep. The flash Curse of the Sad Mummy comes out. Chobin forced to retreat here. JS Method dropping incredibly low. Zarathai flashes after JS Method, but it might not be enough. It is not, as Zarathai does manage to fall here. Drop the Chalupa, and now in a very dangerous situation as Badit has found himself nearby. Cobra with the flash over the wall. The Q does manage to get on top of JS Method, and that will be a kill. Cool Crab is now face-to-face with Irelia, which is not what you want, as Irelia manages to pick up yet another kill. Cobra playing very well on this, but does manage to get hit by the bandage toss. Now Zeus support walks in, but there's nowhere to go as the triple kill for Cobra comes out. And he's not done with this fight just yet. The quadra kill comes out as the bandage toss. Now it's just Badit versus the world, and 4M steals the Penta!
Oh no. But oh wow, instead, what a play, what a fight. Oh my gosh. To just kind of break that down, I think it was really crucial that they did not start Dragon on the side of Iron Chefs, because there were still people alive. There were still people coming to the fight. Was definitely not the greatest of decisions right there, and that allows Cobra to come back into this game, quadra kill. Holy moly, like, that was a ride. It was in Iron Chef's favor, then it went to, completely over onto FF&Z's favor, like, so quickly.
Yeah, once that fight started dragging out and more members of FF&Z started showing up with full HP bars, it became a very scary fight for Iron Chefs, especially because, as you had mentioned, they started the Dragon on the side there. So they were taking so much extra damage and not being able to pump out enough, which allowed Cobra to dance around that fight beautifully when they managed to arrive with full HP.
Yeah, another crucial thing is that Calabina landed a really good Curse of the Sad Mummy, but oh, wait a minute.
Cobra might just manage to pick up this solo kill. Badit is in a very scary situation, and that will be the solo bolo in top lane as Cobra is now unstoppable.
Oh man, Badit, gotta realize, hey, this guy just got a quadra. You gotta be a lot more careful than that. You know, and now they're gonna pick up that Rift Herald. That's gonna be huge. They've almost secured the lead in the gold department across the entire board. I think once this Rift Herald is popped, maybe to the top side, that'll be huge for Irelia. And we talked about, or at least I talked about this. Irelia is not a champion you want all these kills going to, and once this happens, it's going to get very dicey.
That is true. You had mentioned that once that AD and the only AD on the form of FF&Z starts picking up kills, it becomes a much more dangerous game.
Yep, can no longer just stack ability or magic resistance.
The bandage toss comes out. It does manage to drop them very low. The Chaos Storm comes out, and JS Method will find his first kill of the game onto Zarathai.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, JS Method coming back in here. But wait.
Oh no. Badit has found himself in a pretty peculiar situation in this top side as Cobra was waiting in that bush, dropping incredibly low. Badit will fall again with the help of 4M.
Badit just taking L's now. I mean, that was 2 deaths in a row. He's going to get punished heavily now. They did manage to take the first turret of the game, and plates have fallen. So not as much gold as, you know, as before is going to be acquired on the side of FF&Z, but okay, Chobin?
Chobin does manage to get hit by the bandage toss, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and the Chaos Field. All in one go. He can't move as he falls at the hands of JS Method.
Yeah, that was a good pickup. Another good pickup for JS Method. So Badit and JS Method kind of switched positions here in taking L's. I think JS Method definitely needed those few kills picked up. Now has a Leandries. Now is going to be starting to do a lot of damage to their tankier members. I think this is a good look for both sides at the moment. We're still relatively even. Not too much has changed other than, you know, like I said, Cobra getting those kills is very dicey now. I mean, now Cobra can really go wherever he wants and just kind of get picks. Maybe even, like, try to, secure some objective that's coming up soon. They have kind of the tempo here in this mid game.
As we do shift into the mid game, we see people picking up their items. We see that JS Method did opt for the Leandries over the Ludens in this game, trying to pump out abilities quicker and get that stack damage over time. Meanwhile, on the side of FFZ, we see a lot of vision control. We see them fighting to clear out enemy vision, give Cobra the freedom to roam around, as you had mentioned.
Yeah.
So this game is looking... It's very close, being down only 1.5k gold, that's just turret plating gold right there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this isn't to say that Iron Chefs don't have like kind of a staple team fight composition here, but like I said, it's brawler on brawler action here, and it looks like Iron Chefs are the ones trying to make plays here in the middle lane. No, he's gonna get spotted out inside there. Calabina.
It looks like we are all coming together in this mid game. The Encore does come out. It only manages to hit Batted, but JS Method popping Zarathai so quickly.
Wow, that's one carry down. They have now have the kind of tempo for a little bit here.
My goodness, what happened? Zarathai died so fast.
Yeah, that is the full power of Scion ultimate and combo into that with the decimating smash, I believe it's called. So looking good for the side of Iron Chefs. I think that they just have to kind of acquire more towers in this case. I think that's why they're all group mid. They can leave Scion to his own devices up in the top side. He can naturally just farm up, make sure he's getting those stacks on his health. Meanwhile,
right now, all of your wave clear comes out of the Sivir and the Victor, so you got to keep your eye on Cool Crab, who does manage to get engaged on by Chobin there, but Chobin missed the Shuriken on the back foot. Perfect execution on the way out.
Yeah, that would have been a kill for sure. So it's
Cool Crab played it very well there.
Yeah, did manage to. I think they spell shielded the first part of the perfect execution, and then was able to dodge out the Shuriken, so good job on them.
Yeah, that was very nicely played. And now, as we see in this mid game, the dragon is about to come up. It is a cloud dragon right now. 4M is clearing the top side of the map so he can start making his way down and be in position for this. We see the top laners are backing as well.
Yeah, this is going to be another 5-on-5 fight. Hopefully they don't kind of spread their focus on the side of Iron Chefs. Make sure that Calabina is hitting these ultimates that mean something, right? Because the last fight that we saw, the Curse of the Sad Mummy in the dragon fight, it did catch 2 low health people, but they weren't able to get a carry onto that and add the damage to make those kills happen. So hoping that for them. On the other side, I think that, they just have to play kind of a straightforward team fight, right? Like, make sure Cobra stays alive. I think that's the name of the game here.
Zooport has managed to find Chobin out on the side. Chobin does get a little bit of damage down, but as we mentioned, that is an Alistar. It's hard to deal damage to that. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Cobra wants this fight on to Batted, and he's going to force it. Batted forced to ulti away, but Cobra, flashes into it.
Stolen.
And 4M does manage to steal that, the Encore just to ensure his way out. Calabina now goes in, Curse of the Sad Mummy has been dropped. Zarathai explodes again, dropped the Chalupa's got nowhere to go, manages to fall. Chobin now stuck in between 4 people. Does he manage to get out? He does with the perfect execution and the flash, followed by Cool Crab. Cool Crab is not going to follow after him. That's got to be an accident.
That had to be. That
had to be an accident.
Absolutely had to be an accident. Yeah, that was a series of events.
Meanwhile, in the top side there, right after Cobra had flashed in front of the unstoppable force, Batted flashed over the wall, not giving Cobra the chance to do anything else.
That was crucial because Cobra still has teleport, and if Scion was there to disrupt the teleport, it would have been that fight would have not happened if Cobra was there, right? So Iron Chefs managed to at least secure some kills after them, taking the dragon, but I think that's worth for them. They're now up 3K in gold, so they have the footing there again. They have gold on their carries, which is very important.
You know, this is a side to Iron Chefs we haven't seen yet. As we saw in their last 2 games, they couldn't really get their footing there, and they had a little bit of trouble with communication. Meanwhile, going into this game, it's almost like looking at a whole new team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I know you stated this earlier, they had lost 2 games, or the 2 previous series, right? So this is,
Yep.
if they win this whole series, that's going to be a big upset. So
It's going to
they're
be a
looking good so
morale
far.
boost as well.
Yeah, definitely. Looking
If they
good so
do
far.
manage to pull this series out against FFNZ, who is currently 2-0, that would be a massive morale boost, and we might see a new side to Iron Chefs going forward.
Yeah, they're going to take out this top side turret here, as looks like Cobra is left to his own devices down in the bottom lane. All 5 members of Iron Chefs are grouping up. I really like this approach because they have all their ultimates. They have this team fight nailed down, and they won the last one. So we could, if they want to start forcing these team fights, I think they can actually secure more advantages for themselves.
And looking at these teams right now, the one thing I am seeing is Drop the Chalupa does not have a mythic item yet. The Sejuani ulti manages to come out here, but the bandage toss causes Calabina to go a little bit deep. He's going to walk out of that.
Teleport in from Cobra, but just clears the wave. They're trying to get this mid tower here, as they're kind of hovering over Baron as well. This is some interesting macro because they didn't, Iron Chefs didn't yet, didn't try to pull the trigger right away, and I think that's important, right? Especially when the teleport from Cobra is up. They definitely don't want to get into a brawl with Cobra. Badit, on the other hand.
Yeah, Badit and Cobra have found themselves at each other's throats again, and there goes the unstoppable force. Sion is now going to find his way running up to mid. But I like this play by Badit. Badit is forcing Cobra into side lanes while his team takes objectives.
Yeah, that is huge. And now we've opened up the map. All the tier, the outer turrets are gone. They're grouping up around Baron, and Dragon's not up for a minute. They might want to maybe shift over there. They will ward. It looks like they will ward a Baron. Oh, Badit once again.
Badit is in a very sticky situation, as Cobra did manage to go around from behind and will become godlike as he takes Badit down yet again. Badit just going to chase after him a bit there. And now, on the side of Iron Chefs, you are forced to send some of your power to handle this Irelia.
Yeah, there's pings going out to Baron. I think this might be the case here, right? Because you can't leave Cobra alone, and you can't respond to Baron at the same time. You have to have Sion up, but Sion's death timer is a little bit too long, so I guess they're just going to back off of that. Maybe go to Dragon. We're going to see another 5v5 at Dragon again. Maybe.
That's right, and this time it is an Ocean Soul. As we know, Ocean Soul does create more bushes across the map and creates more honeydew plants across the map. So we're going to see a bunch more vision coming out here and vision control. Meanwhile, Calabina does manage to drop really low. The Curse of the Sad Mummy comes out. He does manage to find himself on the backside. 4M dropping really low as support is in there. The Unrelenting Force does come out as now Badit has joined the fight. Cool Crab does manage to take down, drop the Chalupa, and Cobra manages to fall off on the side. Sivir is popping off right now as Zarathai will fall very shortly after. Chobin, now last remaining member of the team, is trying to find a way out of this. Nowhere to go as he manages to now start heading into the other jungle. Oh, that was clean.
That was clean.
That was clean.
That was clean. They had no idea that the Shroud was still there to pick up the Shuriken, so great job on Chobin getting out, but that was a massive, detriment. Cobra falling at the very last moment there, not really getting a lot of damage out. That was crucial, and I don't even know what Cobra fell to, really. It was just the damage coming out from the carries of Iron Chefs, and now they're going for Baron. The TP's going in, though.
I want to draw your attention there to the 4 crits that... Oh, no! 4M manages to steal the Baron! They are going to pick up 2 return kills, one on the 4M, the other on the drop the Chalupa, and they do manage to pick up Chobin as well. But they lost the Baron.
Oh, man.
To answer your question earlier, Cobra had fallen to 4 crits back-to-back by Cool Crab.
Oh, wow. Alright, well, I mean, yes, they stole the Baron, but at what cost? They lost 3 of their members, and crucial members at that. I mean, Cobra is still alive, but I don't think Cobra can last against the amount of CC that Iron Chefs have, so they're going to have to 2v5 this, at least for a little bit here, as it looks like 4M is coming back up. Now they're just going to take, jungle camps and kind of hit the dirt once again. I mean, there's not much else they can do. They are in the lead of gold, though, so they have that going for them. Now, I feel like there is an avenue back into this game for FFNZ. They just have to find their footing, right? It seems like I'm not sure if there's some sort of miscommunication when it comes to these fights or what's happening, but they cannot group up. They have to stay away from this Curse of the Sad Money that is just destroying their composition.
Definitely, you have to bait these engages instead of taking them. You have to find a way to force out the Curse of the Sad Mummy before you re-engage those fights. Otherwise, once the Curse of the Sad Mummy lands onto, for example, Zarathai, Chobin, or Cobra, they have nowhere to go. That's a solid, what is that, 1.5 seconds?
Yeah. And
that is crucial time.
Also, like, Badit has really good positioning in these fights. We saw his devastating charge, like, go through that little crevice and just absolutely estranged. Wait a minute. Oh my god.
Oh wow, JS Method managing to pick up yet another kill on the Zarathai. Dropped the Chalupa, drops very shortly after. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Cobra has found this engage onto Badit, but it is under tower. Cobra dropping incredibly low. This fight is going to be scary. As the shield comes out, Cobra is still under tower, drops to 1 HP. Be careful though, that is an Irelia as the turnaround happens, and Cobra proves why he plays this champion.
Yep, that's a fed Cobra, but Cobra is the only one that's super fed on the team, and he has to respond to this. They cannot fight the 4 remaining members of Iron Chefs without him.
Is this a base race?
There's no way. Cobra has to back here.
There you go.
Okay.
We have the back coming out. Meanwhile, the Encore manages to come down. JS Method dropping extremely low at the hands of 4M. Forced to be on the back foot, but dropped the Chalupa. Has dropped incredibly low at the hands of Cool Crab. The red buff does manage to pick it up. Cobra now dropping really low. The Boomerang does manage to pick up Zarathai on the backside. Now 4M is out of position.
Wow.
But they do manage to let him go. And now it is FFNZ who look to be picking this fight back up. No, okay.
Oh.
Cobra with the TP back.
Here we go again.
Open inhibitor. Cobra regenerating so much health. Badit dropping incredibly low. Badit cannot handle Cobra right now. Calabina is now being engaged on by Chobin. And 4M has managed to find Zoopford off onto the side here. Zoopford is going to drop really low and nowhere to go. No ultimate to keep him alive. He will fall.
Oh, Cobra.
Cobra. Alright, Calabina does manage to pick up the return kill on the 4M. It is now Chobin versus Calabina. The TP starts to come through. The bandage toss does land as JS Method has found himself back into this fight again. Chobin does manage to pick up the kill on the Calabina, but the Chaos Storm will get the double kill.
That's the end. It has to be.
That might be game, as they are now pushing up this mid lane. Now we see that Scion damage coming out onto these towers. Zarathai drops the Encore. It does not find anybody though, as he does fall for the ace at the hands of JS Method.
Wow, that was a long team fight. You gotta be winded after that one.
I'm telling you, man.
This should be the end here. I don't think that 4M can do much about it. Yeah, they're just gonna get ripped apart.
But now it is Cobra. Cobra is the man of the hour here, but he does get taken out by Cool Crab off onto the side. They gotta focus on this Nexus as respawn timers keep coming up.
Oh,
Badit
wow.
does manage to pick it up as the GG comes through, and that is game 1 for Iron Chefs.
Wow, what a game. That was a 30-minute on-the-dot game, and what a banger! Like that was back and forth the entire time. Both teams were just kind of like throwing slugs at each other the entire game, and it pains me because Cobra was doing so well when they got that quadra kill, and then the team just he couldn't put the team on his back. Unfortunately, they dropped a lot of team fights because he was splitting in bottom lane trying to take out Badit. Badit was outmaneuvering a lot of these fights with Cobra, and managed to at least help out his team even though he was losing a lot of the time. So that's game one over on to Iron Chefs. We both were not expecting that.
That was fantastically played by Badit. Now, Badit knew that he couldn't stop Cobra as a whole, so his entire play that game was instead slowing Cobra down, stopping Cobra from snowballing out of control, and making sure that Cobra didn't pick up all these towers across the map. As we saw, their bot inhibitor only fell at 28 minutes.
Yeah. What a decisive game, as Iron Chefs finally taking a game off of a really good team. So now let's see if that momentum still occurs in the second game here. We're gonna get into draft shortly. We're gonna take a short break though. When we're back, we'll have the draft. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another game in the Black Twitch League. We have a bombastic game one behind us now as we get into the draft for game two. Switching sides, Fantastic Four and Zarathai on the red side, and then we have Iron Chefs on the blue side. That was such an incredible game coming out from Iron Chefs. They definitely turned a hand and now are on the hype train for this second game. They got the momentum they needed in the first game. Let's see if they can close it out in a 2-0, or is it going to be extended on to the third game? We'll have to see as bans are rolling through here, kind of the same bans from last game.
Now, my question is, does FFNZ divert that ban to Amumu to show respect there? But the answer is no, as they let the Amumu go through.
Yeah.
Now, that has got to be something you keep your eye on, because that Amumu was such a powerhouse pick, found himself into all those team fights with those Curse of the Sad Mummies.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like the Curse of the Sad Mummies were on point. So was the Scion Ultimates. Like it was just a lot of good setup coming out from the team. And
Oh,
ooh, they're gonna steal away the Amumu here. I like
now
that.
that is something, but I also want to divert your attention to this misfortune. Now, last week, Zarathai played this misfortune, and I think it was somewhere around the 17 and 2 was about the scoreline on this
Yeah.
misfortune.
Yes.
And that is a scary pick to see come through.
Yeah, definitely a scary pick as Iron Chef's looking to throw back with the Sivir and the Victor. So nothing really changed there. I feel like this is a good adaptation for FFNZ, stealing away that Amumu. That was a crucial part of why their plan succeeded in the last game. They definitely made a lot of plays centered around the Curse of the Sad Mummy, was able to follow up most of the time. There was a few points where they were just kind of faltering a bit with it, but for the most part did.
Poppy.
Yeah, ooh, this is gonna be good. I mean, this is a good response for Mumu. Good response for Engage. Counter Engage is always nice to have. I don't know whether that is going top or jungle though.
That is a good question, and also the Samumu can be flexed into the support role just like last game you had mentioned. That is a possibility, and Chalupa does like to play champions like this. You know, he likes to have the Ashe for the CC, the Maokai, and now we see the Amumu as well. The
Ooh,
Galio has been picked up. This is such a team fight heavy composition.
yeah. Very very team fight oriented. I wonder if IC is just gonna keep on trudging along with the kind of team fight composition themselves, or are they gonna go for a different kind of playstyle now that they're on blue side? Bands
If
rolling out here though.
if
Shen.
we see
Oh, go ahead.
two different team fight compositions come through here, this is going to be a game to watch.
Yeah, definitely once again another great team fight oriented comp. I mean, we saw it last game. Although last game it was kind of interesting, right? Because we saw that Cobra played really, really well on Aurelia, but decided to split push instead of just joining the team fights, right? I feel like once there's a certain point to getting Aurelia ahead, you can start adding her into these fights. And, they did. At one of the fights, they did, but she just got blown up, and then they never try to join a fight again. And while that is certainly valid from a certain point of view, I feel like it's based upon the positioning of your carries, how you stack your ultimate abilities, how you stack the stun. I feel like I really could have definitely provided a lot more in the fights later on in the game, but unfortunately it was just too late at that point. None of the other characters had leads, and I think that played a really crucial role in why they lost. But let's see if they can bring it back. They now pick Lilia, I think, into the
With the
jungle.
Lilia.
Could be flex
Actually,
top.
this could be a top lane Lilia. Now, Lilia is a very safe pick in the top lane and is basically the AP form of Darius.
Yeah, definitely the AP form of Darius. Kled will be the response here. I believe that was banned out from IC last game.
Now,
As
I like this Kled pick. One of my friends mained Kled for a long time, and I have seen Kled do some pretty scary things. And against someone as squishy as Lilia, yes,
oh
Lilia
yeah,
has that slight range and a lot of movement on their back. It doesn't matter when you're bear trapped on a rope.
yeah,
You're gonna get pulled right back, and Kled is just gonna sit there doing tons and tons of damage on you.
yeah, definitely. Any pull champion is kind of really really good against Lilia. Like Darius, Darius is a good pick against Lilia for sure. Because if you get too close, I mean, you are a melee champion. You do have to kind of do play around your Q quite a lot, but if you get pulled and you're slowed right after, it's kind of hard to get that extra damage off on Lilia's Q on the outer ring. So, wait, Malphite is being picked up here.
So
Now,
that means one of two things. That means this team composition is either Lilia top, Amumu in the jungle, Malphite in the mid, or it is Malphite support, or top lane. This is gonna be pretty weird. I think this might be an Amumu support. I want it to be. I do.
Yeah, it might be. That would be interesting to see. Well, we're in client draft now, so I guess we'll see in a little bit here. But out of these two comps, which do you think is like kind of the better one? I mean, they're both this almost the same team fight composition. We have a lot of disengage though coming out from IC. I mean, they have the Poppy who kind of disrupts all of the dashes that Amumu and Galio want to do. So, what
Now,
do you think?
I may be just a little bit biased here because I love the Renata Glass pick.
Ah,
I think IC has the slight advantage here strictly because Renata Glass has single-handedly the most game-changing ult in the entire game. Being
yeah.
able to turn enemies against each other, especially when you have such a high damage carry like Misfortune, you can end up killing 2 or 3 people just through Misfortune auto attacks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's looks like Cobra is gonna take the Malphite here, as 4M will take the Lilia. So it is gonna be a Lilia jungle. I guess it's gonna be a Mumu support, which is gonna be a really good setup for Misfortune. I think
I
it's
love it.
perfect. Yeah, it's gonna do well.
Drop the chalupa, man. You really answered my dreams and my prayers here, as I'm finally gonna get to see this Amumu support come out. He
Yep.
does have Clay on the Amumu support. I have seen it in the op.gg, but it is something he picks few and far between. So
Yeah.
I want to see how he does on this.
So,
And
oh yeah, yeah.
Kalambina
Go ahead.
locked in the Poppy.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the Poppy Jungle Kled top, and it's gonna be Victor mid standard stuff. I want one thing I want to notate because we're talking about how Icy you think has the better edge a little bit, and I kind of want to see how the mid game plays out when we start picking up these magic resist items. Because look at the side of FFNZ, they have 3 AP on their top side, and the only this is the same situation as last game, their only chance or source of AD is going to be this Misfortune. And even though that we're having a different carry on the AD, I still think it's easy to say that that Misfortune can be easily disrupted and shut down if the bot lane of the Cool Crab and Zoosport do actually manage to kind of pressure them. So we
Now,
kind of flip flopped.
I like FFNZ's team comp here, but if there is one thing that I would change about that entire team comp, I would have said drop the Galio, put Vex there instead. This way
Ooh,
you have a little more of that team fight damage, you have a little more of the speed on clearing out the carries. I think that would have been just a little bit better here, but the Galio is still a good pick. You know, you have the Shield of Durand, you have the ultimate to knock people up and back, you have the, I like to call it the Falcon Punch, that he has, and it's a lot of CC that can come out here. But does he have the survivability against Cool Crab and Batted?
yeah. It's gonna be another one of those. It's almost the same as the first game. A lot of team fights. I mean, the Renata Glass, I guess, kind of secures that they have a big team fight ultimate, but I think there's a little bit more damage, like or actually CC stacking on the side of FFNZ. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say like that's enough to allow Misfortune the kind of space that she needs to pop the bullet time, get a lot of damage out, and then just continue auto attacking. So
I
I think
agree
they'll do
with
well.
you. I think the Malphite ult followed directly behind the Curse of the Sad Mummy, directly behind the Lilia Stare, uh, Dream, or whatever it's called, something like that, and the bullet time. You have so much team fight damage. You know, if you're on the side of IC, you have to pull out a lot of this CC before you can even think to fight.
Yeah. We're gonna find out. But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, and once we're back, we're gonna have another banger of a game. This is game two of Fantastic Four and Zarathai versus Iron Chefs. Don't go anywhere. Alright, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's game 2 of Iron Chefs versus Fantastic Four and Zarathai, and looks like they're going for that top side invade here.
I love this 5-stack top. They're looking for any early game pick they can get. And they have spotted out Batted. The flash comes out as they manage to land the bandage toss, followed by the shielded Duran. He is now off the mount. He's got nowhere to go. First blood goes to Zarathai.
Wow, great job on that first blood. And it's gonna be given over to Zarathai. That is such a good start. I look forward to the Misfortune just dropping the damage. Picked up a longsword. That's a good start.
That is a very good start for the hands of Zarathai. You never want to see someone like Misfortune get that first blood, because now they have an advantage throughout the rest of this game.
Yeah, let's see if they can keep it. As it looks like both junglers are starting on the bottom side of the map. This is going to mean that they might meet up in the top side. I wonder if, you know, having this advantage is gonna kind of alter the way they path, because now that Misfortune has the damage, it's kind of like, can they get prior early, or will it fall still over to the Cool Crab and Zeus Port?
Now you also have to pay attention to the fact that FFNZ did use 2 different summoner spells with catching that first blood. They dropped the Amumu Flash and they dropped Chobin's Ghost.
Yeah. That's definitely going to make a huge difference. Level 1, though.
Meanwhile, Zooport dropping insanely low. The double up follows through the flash, and that is the second kill for Zarathai.
Ooh, this is dangerous Misfortune gameplay here. I mean, she's very strong right now, but I think it's very important that you don't give her kills too early on. She's going to just keep doing that. Double up being a targeted ability. Can't flash that.
Definitely, and you have to definitely point out Drop the Chalupa, who managed to land both bandage tosses onto Zooport there.
The mainstay of Amumu there is just having that bandage toss in support lane, what made him very viable there. So, okay, a little bit of taunts going in the mid lane here. I feel like, you know, JS Method had a really bad start last game, is looking to kind of change that this game. Did pop off, you know, later stages of the game, last game, so it's kind of really on him to kind of output that AP damage that they need. I feel like he might have a better time against Galio, per se, than the Akali here.
I agree with you, definitely. The Galio is a niche pick here, something I didn't really expect to see. Especially out of Chobin when Akali remained open. Yeah, he had a tough time that last game. But the nice flash by Calebina. Chobin's dropping insanely low, and it looks like they are going to dive this. JS Method, he's tanking the tower, but does manage to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, Cool Crab dropping very low at the hands of Zarathai. Zooport managing to land that Q just to make sure they're a little bit okay. Now we see 4M in the top lane onto Batted again. Batted is knocked off of Skarl here. He is going to get a lot of damage off onto 4M there, misses the Q, and that will cost him his life at the hands of Cobra.
Wow, 5 kills in under 5 minutes. It's gonna be it's gonna be a game for sure. So a couple of things. I guess that dive would have went a lot better if Calebina like kept tanking that turret.
Tower.
That was crucial. But nonetheless, they both got a trade kill on one another, so could be worse. Could have not gotten a kill. But yeah, this definitely helps JS Method kind of get to his augments. That is, you know, what Victor mains really want to strive for, getting augments as soon as possible so they can outpush their opponents. Dragon coming up, it's gonna be Infernal. We see a lot of characters already down there. Priority is on Zarathai and Drop the Chalupa for now. Calebina cut him up here. Same with Chobin. Chobin is gonna get stunned though.
Chobin is a little bit caught out here, but Calebina is gonna get taunted by the shielded Duran there. Now Zarathai has found himself in a pretty decent situation. It looks like we're gonna be doing the dragon dance for a moment here.
Yeah. Looking at top side here, I guess, direct to camera is like, it's not gonna bounce anything down there, which everybody backed off. Bandit now on the losing end of the stick here once again this game. He's been taking L's, but his actions caused his team to win the last game, so let's see if he can do the same here.
The bear trap on a rope does manage to pull Cobra back, and now Cobra is on the back foot.
Yeah,
One more
spicy.
combo by either of these players. The bear trap on a rope does manage to come out, but flash for flash.
Flash for flash. Level 6 is where it's at. There it is from Bandit. Don't think he's going to use it quite yet. We do see 4M kind of lurking up there. Maybe getting another gank. And this is, you know, Bandit has been very prone to these ganks when he pushes up too far. Does not have any vision. Sad to see.
That is very true, and with that lack of vision, we now see 4M is topside. They are. It looks like they're waiting on this level 6, but Bandit will drop the ultimate. He does manage to find himself under tower. Cobra managing to stay alive by so little.
Oh man.
So little. Are those okay? I thought those minions were gonna pick that up for a second.
I thought so too. Don't worry. I was waiting for him. Like, oh, the minions? Maybe? No. Didn't happen. Cobra gets away by the chin, what was the quote? By the skin of his chinny chin, I believe. That's an old saying. I'm too old. Anyways.
I don't know. A saying I've heard a lot is by the skin of your teeth.
Oh, true. Could have used that too. Anyways, Dragon here is the point of contention for both of these sides.
Both teams are pinging, and Zooport was managed to get spotted out there. Zarathai has now found that fight, dropped the swoop just a little bit out, but Chobin does manage to get into the fight. Shield to Durant is going to come down. That is a massive taunt. They are all on the back foot now. JS Method does manage to pick up Dr. Chalupa. And then we see the Malphite ult come out, and now this fight is different. Calebina manages to get hit with the sleep, and that is the kill.
Wow. 8 kills in under 8 minutes on the side of FFNZ. This is a completely different game than the last one, and they're going to pick up this first Dragon pretty much for free.
That is 4 shutdowns.
Yeah, that is a lot of shutdowns to be acquired. Don't know if they're going to be able to get anything. Now, one thing to note. Last game, Bandit was the first one to respond to the bottom lane shenanigans. Now, we see Cobra responding with the unstoppable force. Only hits 1, but secures a couple of kills for his team. And, yeah, this is a really good start for FFNZ. Oh.
And it looks like that good start is only going to continue as Zooport is caught out as Manly Mailman picks up that kill.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just kind of an overconfidence thing or what is happening on the side of Iron Chefs, but they are really overstepping, and there's a lot of, you know, unknown parts. I mean, we don't see a lot of vision coming out from Iron Chefs around the map. I mean, we saw for Bandit, like, he got ganked several times now, has not really been doing their due diligence on the warding, has, you know, 3 deaths, and this is all under 10 minutes. This is a very different paced game than the last one, so you need to kind of make those adjustments as you go along here.
We mentioned that vision on the top lane, that Bandit finds himself just getting caught out by lack of vision. He has yet to place a ward this game.
Yeah, he is. There's the one.
Hey, first ward, Bandit, let's go!
But, a little bit too late.
That was a little BM.
It's alright, and he's gonna get ganked again? Oh no.
Ward came out, but it wasn't in the right place.
It was not. I mean, especially since you're dealing with, you know, Galio, people who can roam really well, like a Mumu, you know, people that can kind of catch characters out. You have to be careful of where, you know, where these enemies might come from. And one thing to note, like, he has used his ultimate only to engage so far. The one time he used it was on Cobra, and he could have used that to very well just get away.
Very much true. He could have used it to save himself if he had just a little more patience. We saw 4M in that top lane ready to collapse onto him, and he was going to gank in any minute.
Yeah, looks like he's getting in again. Oh man. Oh, they're all up there!
It looks like he used it to get back to lane, and now he's going to find himself collapsed on as the hero's entrance does manage to come out. It does look like this might be a dive opportunity. Now, diving against Kled is very scary, as he has those invincible frames getting on and off Skarl. Calebina now manages to find Chobe in there, but drop the Chalupa as topside as well. We now
Oh,
see
no.
as they are all collapsing on a Calebina. Does Calebina manage to get out the
Woo!
three-man knockback? That was a beautiful keeper's verdict.
Yeah, that was really good. Unfortunately, though, Mailman did pick up the Rift Herald. I wonder where they're gonna drop that, as you know, all lanes seem to be doing quite well. I think you would want someone who can kind of roam to get off of their lane and just kind of roam around the map with Lilia.
Very nice bullet time. They knew that that was going to end up pushing very heavily in Icy's favor, so they dropped the bullet time, give some time for Drop the Chalupa to come back in the lane. It was very well played.
Yeah, definitely well played. And looking at the CS numbers here, we see a lot of increased CS numbers on the side of Iron Chefs, but the kill count is definitely in favor of FFNZ. They don't have, it's only almost a 3k gold lead, so it's not like the worst, but it's definitely worse than last game because we saw it was a lot of back and forth. It was FFNZ on the back foot very early on, and that has changed completely. Let's see if they can keep this lead because they do have a Rift Herald in hand. They have this dragon, which is Infernal, coming up in a, or no, it would be Hextech. It's just bugged, but this would be crucial for them to kind of start stacking these dragons, as you know they have priority in all of these lanes.
Definitely, and as you and I mentioned during the break, on the side of Iron Chefs, if you don't win this game early, it's going to be very hard for you to come back into this game. So
Yep.
this is now going to be where can we find those picks? And it looked like we might have just found one as Calebina is rushing on to 4M. 4M is going to be about half health here, especially after that Victor laser. So this is going to set them up for Dragon.
Yeah, might set them up for Dragon. We do have a teleport for Cobra available. Could get very well interrupted, though, by Batted, but if he takes a step back and joins this fight, might be able to pick up their second Dragon. Looks like that's what he might do, as a lot of pings are going out.
A
Okay.
lot of pings are going out as the invade is now coming through. They're looking for any pick that they can get here.
Yeah, this is a dangerous position to be in.
And here comes the engage. As the hero's entrance comes in, it looks... Ooh, the loyalty program comes out, and that is going to be the first kill there on the JS method. Shortly after is going to be Ichobin dropping. Cobra has now managed to find his way into this fight. Zuport is forced to run away, drops the handshake to try and get out here. Cool Crab dealing a ton of damage on the back foot here. Zuport dropping insanely low and will manage to fall there, but meanwhile Cool Crab is dealing a ton of damage.
Cool Crab definitely almost dropped the Chalupa to death, but managed to get away with a sliver of health. Meanwhile, Batted actually, you know, at least taking advantage of the laner not being there. By the way, Cobra 5-0 on this Malphite. Definitely the same look. Different champion, same look, I guess.
Very true. Cobra is playing insanely well this game. Managing to make it down to that fight without even using teleport, which saved it for him getting back into lane and stopping that first tower from falling.
Yeah, definitely a good look. And this is all because Batted just hasn't been really rolling the ball with these pushes, these roams. Has gotten ganked a lot during the early game. Ooh.
JS Method does manage to get hit by the bandage toss, but will walk out of that.
Yeah, not much follow-up there. I think it's crucial that, you know, Chalupa starts to roam now. Oh, here we go.
Zuport does manage to get caught there. As the bandage toss comes out, 4M is going to manage to pick up that kill. Momentum is completely in the hands of FFNZ going into this dragon fight.
Yeah, they have Bryo once again. They got a pick. Should be a free dragon. As long as Calebina does not maybe interrupt. Maybe we'll get the pick here.
Calebina does manage to find that start on to drop the Chalupa. The W goes down just in time for drop the Chalupa to make it over that wall. And now the Dragon is going to be secured by the side of FFNZ.
That
Very
was close boomerang. Oh, man.
That will be first tower taking down in the top lane, as it looks like they are trying to make something happen mid-side.
Yeah, so at least Badit was able to take out the first turret. He did pick up first item was a Black Cleaver. I think that is a good choice, but I think that, you know, being so far behind, you might have to, you just kind of like go with the sustain option of maybe like a gore drinker, or, you know, something a little bit more maybe dueling power. I mean, you can't even side lane anymore against this Malphite.
Now, personally, if I was in the shoes of Badit, I would say, listen, my top has been hell. I would look to honestly go for the split push option.
Yeah, that's
Force
fair.
yourself back into this game through split pushing, so I personally would have rushed the Tiamat.
That's fair. That is fair. Could be a first item Titanic, or even Sunfire. I mean, I've seen a lot of really, like, just go first for Sunfire, just be tanky and not give a crap of whatever the opposing laner wants to do to you. You just kind of sustain through it all and push the lane out at the same time.
Definitely, and now it looks like all eyes are on Rift Herald from the side of FFNZ. 4M has started it. They have complete vision control on the area. And yeah, it looks like Iron Chest doesn't even know this is going on, as they managed to secure that.
Second Rift Herald in a row. Maybe popped here with a little bit of a ARAM going on, as they're deciding what to do.
That ARAM is so crucial by the side of FFNZ, especially because this is such a big team fight. Now we see the Shield of Duran comes down, the Bullet Time comes out as well. Loyalty Program, Keeper's Verdict actually keeps them alive by knocking Zarathai away. Now Ichobin's found himself in a dangerous situation. JS Method does manage to come in off on the side there, and they managed to pick up both Ichobin and 4M at the same time.
Wow, that was huge momentum swing. And Cobra's here, has not popped the Unstoppable Force.
I'd like to say this is back into a 2K gold game.
Yeah, this is a... See, we kind of slept on the Cool Crab for a little bit. He is 2-0-3, an exceptional farm number, and Zarathai, has to flash away.
Calebina was looking for that dive, but the second that he popped out, Zarathai flashed out. He wanted no part of that.
And, I mean, that would have been a huge shutdown if Zarathai was caught out 4-0 on the Misfortune. But, you know, I feel like Cool Crab is kind of one of their hopes. JS Method as well. Like, they have to really put the team on their back. Badit is struggling. Not much going on with Calebina so far. Hasn't been able to get any of the neutral objectives on the map. So, this is really on them to kind of carry the game once again.
You know, I would like to say that Cool Crab actually has a gold lead ever so small over Zarathai.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Ever so small. And I mean, that is just due to CS, I think, and maybe plates.
CS and plates, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Even though that Zarathai has 4 kills, 2 more than he does on that. But,
2 more and 3 more assists.
Yeah, that is crazy. The amount of gold plates can give you, man, it's crazy.
It is. It really is. People sleep on that gold plating so much, but it really is just a massive source of gold.
Yeah, as we see a really weird split here. JS Method is all alone in the top side of the map. Looks like Galio or Chobin is going to go respond to that. But Dragon is coming up soon. I think it's fair to say we would expect maybe a 5v5. I mean, it's possible that Iron Chefs let this one go, but it is the 3rd Dragon out of 4, and that's gonna be crucial if this Cloud Soul goes over to FFNZ. That's gonna be really good Lily ultimates.
See, I like that call. they were pushing up these side lanes with 20 seconds before Dragon up.
Wait a minute.
Now that forces them to respond in kind, thinking they're going to go down to Dragon, but it's not. It's a Baron sneak. They have no idea. There's no vision control on this side of the map. They fully expected it to be a Dragon fight.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is such a good call.
Yeah.
That mind blowing.
That was option
Whoever
3.
made that call needs a raise.
That was option 3 for them. They just completely took Baron. I don't know how much it will do against this, opposing team composition, especially if they spread out their laners accordingly. I mean, we do see Badit still here on the bottom side of the map. They just took Dragon, buddy. You're gonna have to survive as long as possible.
Badit is in a scary situation. He has the ulti, he pops it, and it locks on to Zarathai. He's got next to nowhere to go. He gets knocked off Scarl, but they don't care. This is going to be the dive. The Shield of Duran comes through, doesn't find anybody, but Zarathai does manage to pick up the kill.
They're pushing mid.
They have Baron minions. They are pushing up mid. FFNZ is forced to back here. They give up the tower.
Oh man. Like, I understand wanting to kill, the clan, but that was a little bit too much members on that side of the map, I think.
They are downing kills, but they are completely even on gold. If you looked at this game, seeing that it is 6-16, you would think that they are losing hard. Meanwhile, Cobra manages to find that unstoppable force. The hero's entrance comes in, but the Renata Glass Gold comes out and does a ton of damage. Cobra now dropping insanely low. The bullet time comes out. Crystal's Sad Mummy as well. But Drop the Chalupa's got nowhere to go. 4M now forced on the retreat. They don't know that Cobra is off on the side there. Cobra does manage to pick up the kill on the support, but falls very shortly after to the boomerang. Calebina now sees 4M. He's going to chase after that, but he's going to find Zarathai in that bush as well. Cool Crab does manage to continue this fight. Nothing else really to do here. Good spell shield there.
Oh my gosh. So it's really a battle of the ADCs, as both are deathless, both are picking up kills left and right. Except we have a Victor as well. And I think this is almost the same sort of thing that happened in the first game, right? JS and the Cool Crab were kind of underlooked, and now they're showing up with these bounties, and it's becoming really scary. But I feel like there's also a lot of misplay going on the side of FFNZ. I mean, those were staggered characters coming into that fight. I mean, we saw that Cobra started it with the Unstoppable Force, then got totally annihilated by 4 of their members, followed up by the hero's entrance, and he got pretty much annihilated. Then people just started to funnel in, and the kills were kind of traded back and forth, but there needs to be a little bit more consistency, I feel, with how these fights erupt from the team fight comp, right? You can't just be going in one by one expecting things to happen. That's not how you stack the ultimates, per se.
Yeah, and FFNZ is now on the back foot in gold ever so slightly. This game has become a 900 gold game. Yeah,
this is getting extremely dangerous. They really have to step up the game here for FFNZ if they want to take it home, because they had such a great start. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zarathai is still 6-0. Still is a very potential, devastating threat. But again, the only source of AD is not getting the appropriate bullet times that they want, because their team is just doing these preemptive strikes on 2-3 members of the opposing team.
Yeah, and then once you lack all that CC, the bullet time isn't as much of a devastating force as it could have been if used during the CC. Yep,
definitely. That's right on the nose there. And we have about a minute and a half for this next dragon. Baron has worn off. A lot of good, positioning coming out from the side of Iron Chefs. They know they want this dragon. They're like, we cannot allow them to have this. I think the only thing they can do right here is kind of push bottom and just kind of group up for this fight. I don't know if Badit is going to stay up in that top side to drive away Cobra, or can he even face Cobra? I guess that's the question here.
Badit has been split pushing almost this entire game, and has actually managed to now have a level advantage over Cobra. Yeah. This is a pretty big thing Levels mean a lot in this game, but against a Thornmail Frostfire Gauntlet,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get damage out.
But they know that FF&Z know that if they leave Badit to his own devices up here in the top side and just throw everything at Dragon, that he can at least get a turret, maybe even two, if the fight stalls out long enough, or if it's a bloody fight.
Uh-oh, 4M might have found himself caught out here as he does manage to get knocked up by the Keeper's Verdict. Drop the Chalupa is dropping insanely low here as we see Cobra's first teleport come out. The hero's entrance coming out very shortly after, but the Zonias will manage to keep him alive for just a second longer. The Chaos Storm does manage to come out, and the first kill is going to fall onto JS Method, falling very shortly behind his drop the Chalupa. Cobra does go down. 4M goes down as well at the hands of that auto attack. This is so close. Zarathai is doing work, but the triple kill by Gold Crab Bandit manages to show up right in time. That is the ace.
Wow. Bandit actually, showed up and actually just got the shutdown on the Deathless Misfortune. Managed to secure Dragon for his team. I couldn't have asked for a better split push than that, to be honest.
That is so crucial there. We see both ADCs now at the score of 7-1.
Yep, and that I gotta say, that was a clutch stopwatch from JS Method. If he did not stopwatch there, that was definitely the fight for FF&Z. There was no way that they could have allowed Victor to stay alive there, but he managed to clutch the stopwatch, buy enough time for the rest of his team to kind of follow up on the damage. Even survived a little bit after he got out of it, but that sliver of time was all they needed to kind of let the Cool Crab do his thing.
You know, once JS Method got down that Chaos Storm, it was a whole different game. But now we see Baron has been started on the side of Iron Chefs. This is a very, very dangerous Baron call against such a team fight heavy composition. We see them dancing around here now, and this fight is going to break out at any minute. Drop the Chalupa goes in, Curse of Sad Money. Blue team has slain Baron Nashor. The bullet time does come out. Chobin does manage to fall though, and now they are on the back foot. Now Cobra manages to come into this fight, but Cool Crab manages to pick up the kill onto Zarathai, and everybody has been dropped insanely low. They know that he's there.
Oh my God.
It is just 4M alive. Iron Chefs have played this beautifully as Calebina is coming around here looking for this engage at any opportunity.
Wow. What a fight.
That was so beautifully played.
I like how the Cool Crab took a step forward, flashed in, became the like, I'm just gonna balls to the wall, I'm just gonna throw it at them, and let JS Method kind of clean up after me, and they're that's synergy right there. That's what it's all about, the carries. Being able to tell when you need to step up and when not to. Like, he had every right not to, but he decided that this was going to be the win for the team fight, the almost clean ace for them, and the pickup for Baron. It's okay if I lose my life, if that means that JS Method kind of cleans up, right? And so now he's set. He's got Zonia's, Rabadon's Deathcap, Luden's, a 10-stack Dark Seal, and, a couple of Barons. So let's see how they use them, because I feel like it might be like a 1-4 kind of situation here. Maybe send... Yeah, it looks like they're going to send JS Method down the bot side. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like him being alone there, he might be prone to being ganked, but nothing will do harm if he's got good vision.
At the start of this game, JS Method bought a Doran's Ring. After the first fight broke out, and his team didn't really win that fight, he bought a Dark Seal, and anticipated this game going on long.
Yeah.
That was such a clutch buy. He actually sold the Doran's Ring and swapped to the Dark Seal.
Yeah. Drop the Chalupa?
Drop the Chalupa has found himself between 4 members of Iron Chefs. He is now trying his hardest to get out of here as Cool Crab and JS Method just deal too much damage.
Here we go. The 1-4
split.
Baron
power play is going to be massive as they are now pushing up at this bot lane turret. And it is basically just inhibitor turrets left as we see Badit in the top side continuing his split push.
Yeah, you know, FFNZ, they can do this. They have the team fight capabilities. Here we go.
And they notice it as they've managed to go in here, but Calebina does manage to keep everybody alive with the Keeper's Verdict. Oh my goodness, Cool Crab is dropping insanely low. The Renata W is popped, but there's no life left. JS Method is now alone as the damage dealer here. Zooport versus Zarathai in the spot side is going to be traded.
Oh my god. Wait, Badit is still pushing.
Badit is in the base now.
Man, and it's time and time again. We see that the ults are not sticking correctly. Like, Cool Club was caught in the bullet time, but managed to escape and then buy some more time for JS Method to come in and repeat the process. Just buying time for the other carry to come in and do the damage is such an important part of how they play. Iron Chefs plays this game, and it's working out so well because they don't have to rely on having all 5 people there if they can just buy time for you know, the remaining members to get there. And this dragon is a little risky now with this teleport coming in.
Oh, Badit manages to TP to the ward right on top of Cobra. He now finds himself surrounded by every member of the enemy team. The Chaos Storm does come down, does a ton of damage. The Unstoppable Force comes out, Crystal of Sad Money. JS Method manages to get picked out. Badit's going to fall very shortly after.
Alright, now we're looking at a man deficit here as it's 3v5. I don't know if they can necessarily do this on the side of Iron Chefs. I think they might have to let this go, to be honest.
It's tough to let this soul go, especially with Cool Crab there. They know that they have some damage still alive, but is it going to be enough against basically full health members of the enemy team? Drop the Chalupa is going to fall incredibly low. The Keeper's Verdict knocking him back, keeping him alive just a little bit longer. 4M does manage to get in onto this fight, but will fall very shortly after. Chobins with the Hero's Entrance does manage to come in here. And the Zonya is managing to keep Chobin alive. Calebina now. It is just Calebina and Cool Crab, and the health bars are looking incredibly low here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Drop to the Chalupa is responding to the top side inhibitor minion push there, so they're just going to back off. And I cannot believe they actually managed to just drive off FFNZ away from this dragon. The last one that they need to secure Soul. And this is going to just allow them to take it. Just like that.
That's right, and now Dragon is delayed on the side of FFNZ just that much longer. And they see them up on this top side. Badit managing to spot out that they were prepping for Baron as well.
Yeah, I think Badit actually, you know, that teleport was good timed. I think that he could have done a little bit more to make sure that it lasted as long as he could for the rest of the members to get there. But, you know, overall, I think that fight went really well for them in terms of just stalling, right? Stalling was the name of the game. I said this before. You just have to stall a little bit more next time because JS Method fell pretty quickly in that fight. But here we go. This is a Baron fight. I feel like if you're FFNZ, you really want to fight this, especially now that it's in the pit. Or in another pit, I guess you should say, and you can stack your ultimates properly. They did it one time. But I think the bullet times are going to be really crucial here. They have to hit both JS and Cool Crab for it to do maximum damage to them.
This team fight might very well be the last team fight we see in this entire series if Iron Chefs do manage to come out ahead in this.
Yep, no inhibitor down, so there's not a lot of, like, you can't respond to anything here. You have all your lanes pushing in towards you, so they might have to just honestly give this one up, or at least make sure you're pushing first and then get this priority on Baron again. Oh, wait a minute.
And the engage is going to come out as Cobra falls insanely fast. The Curse of the Sad Mummy followed by the Bullet Time does manage to pick up Zooport. Now it looks like the engage is going to come right back through. Calebina dropping incredibly low. The double kill does manage to come out, but JS Method and Cool Crab do manage to pick up kills there. Zarathai manages to fall very shortly after at the hands of Badit. And now with 4 members down, they are pushing right up this mid lane. That is a full health Lilia, but what can you do?
Yeah, the sleep is down. There's not much she can do. Yep, that's
Yup.
it's just dead. This might be the game.
This very well might be a game.
30-second death
The
timers.
GGs have been called.
Oh my gosh. And
That is going to be the game.
wow. Oh my gosh, what a game. It's
So well played.
You know, I thought FFNZ were going to actually, you know, pull this one out, but they didn't find their footing when it comes to the team fight, and the other team just managed to get pick after pick after pick, bait them into certain things, play these fights out as best they could, stall for time, play their composition out the way they wanted to, and managed to pick up a dub on the same carries rather. Victor and Sivir both played a crucial part of just, you know, the back and forth, like, hey, you've got the damage this fight and I'll get the damage the next fight. The back and forth was beautiful, and I think that was a well-deserved win on the side of Iron Chefs.
Now, who would you say is MVP?
That is a good question. Honestly, I feel, you know, I'm gonna ask you first because I need some time to think about this one.
Me personally, I gotta give it to Calebina.
Okay.
That was some insane play on their behalf. Yes, they were not in a relative carry position, but from the Amumu to the Poppy, he managed to find every one of those engages that turned the entire game around.
Yeah.
Not to mention the beautiful 4-man Amumu ultis.
Yeah, that is true. You know, for me personally, I am gonna agree with you. Calebina was one of the MVPs. I'm actually gonna give my MVP vote to, you know, I'm gonna give it to Bandit. I mean, took L's the entire time, but managed to pull out the Cyan ultimates, the Kled ultimate, well, not the ultimates, but the TPs from Kled, beautiful, managed to do what they needed to do in that time frame to give time to their team to CC enough for the team to come in and collect all of the kills. So yeah, mine personally is Bandit, but we could bring Calebina, I guess, into the call with us.
Whichever one you would want to interview.
All right, we're gonna bring Calebina in here. Let me see if I can move. There we go. Hello.
What? Hello, Calebina. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Hey, that was such great gameplay. Personally, I think that you actually set up a lot in game one, a lot more in game one than game two, but did a beautiful job in both games of just setting up your team for victory, especially you setting up for JS Method and the Cool Crab to kind of carry the games, right? And that's why we've got you on the broadcast for tonight. You have any questions for Calebina starting off, Cilio?
I do. My first question for you is the team communication you all had to stack ults in game one and then in game two to find those picks that managed to turn team fights. Who was making all those shot calls and finding those perfect opportunities for you to engage?
So a lot of our setup around objectives and stuff like that, we all try to keep a close timer. JS Method is extremely talented at like making sure that we're all keeping on pace with each other, and then our support as well is absolutely cracked at like telling us when he actually needs us to like do things with him, like grab vision or push into the enemy jungle or just try and get like anything we can rolling. So really it's a combination of our support and mid just really like controlling the pieces on the board and then just letting us do our jobs from there.
That is fantastic. You know, I want to bring you back to not the ending, but pretty close to the ending of that last game when you managed to find that pick onto the top laner. You found the Malphite, and you managed to not only find that pick, but completely explode a full tank Malphite.
Yeah, so that was that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, mainly because like JS was so farm fed and he was just had so many items, and Malphite had no MR. So all I have to do is shut down the Malphite from just blowing up my backline. Like if I can just pin him against the wall and then throw my W so nobody else can really get in to protect the Malphite, then JS is just going to one shot him. That was like our entire plan there, and it happened to work. So it was kind of is kind of fortunate as well that I also got pushed out of that fight too, so I could get on the backline and push MF out of that fight and make it a lot easier for our carries just not to get shredded by the ultimate. So it was a combination of like luck and like I think they felt a little pressured as well after not getting the soul to just try and end the game as quickly as possible and play around their comp. But we got really lucky with just like they played a ridiculously great game. We just got a little bit luckier that we had the advantage of just being calm and having like JS and Sue there to be like, hey, just stop, take a breath, play back. So that helped
Yeah,
us a lot.
it's definitely a little bit of luck, but I want to talk about. You say luck, but I think a lot of it had to do with your draft because as soon as I saw the Poppy pick, I'm like, this is an adaptation that has to be made, right? They showed a lot of engaging characters, ones that have dashes, things like that. And I think the Poppy pick was the absolute best pickup for that draft you could have made because you were expecting them to kind of do the same thing, were you not?
Right, absolutely. And actually, the Poppy pick mainly came because I got absolutely smurfed on. The first like series we played, they played J4 than Poppy, and the Poppy just absolutely shit on me. So I was like, all right, you know what? We're playing Poppy.
That's
Like,
fair.
we're making it happen.
Now, I also want to bring you back to the mid game there in game 2. JS Method was caught out of position. The Malphite ulti followed by the hero's entrance, JS Method managed to stay alive with the stopwatch there. What were comms like to get in and keep him alive as long as you did?
Well, the main thing actually wasn't to keep him alive. The more that they blow on him, the longer time we have for our Sivir just to ramp up and essentially shred them. So at that point in the game, like, yeah, Victor's strong, but like our primary carry there is Sivir. So we could let Victor die there 10 times out of 10 when they have no cooldowns now, and Sivir's just going to run through the team. So it was mainly like focusing who our actual priority was at that moment, and making sure we're centered around keeping like because JS Method at 10% HP isn't going to help us win that fight, but 100% health Sivir is. So we just
Right.
tried to play around the Sivir at that point and then pick up what we could.
And I have one last question for you.
Fire away.
Is there anything you would like to say to Fantastic Four and Zarathai?
Yeah, they're fucking nuts. They're so good at the game. Like, I was, I was actually surprised. Like, a lot of their vision was insane. Like, we're always on wards. Like, they're a really really great team, and it was a really fun series. I'm glad we got to play them.
All
That's
right.
fantastic. Anything else that you'd like to ask, Wookie?
That's about it for me. I think congratulations, you guys pulled off. I believe your first win, first series win of the season. Correct? Correct me
Yes,
if I'm
sir.
wrong. So you guys got to feel great about that one. Go enjoy your win. Looking forward to next week for you guys. I think you're actually facing my team next week, or
Oh no.
yeah.
I
So,
wish I could cast that. I actually won't be here. That sucks.
Oh
oh
no, it'll be a
man.
good time.
It's going to be a good time. Well, looking forward to it. But that's all we have for our broadcast tonight. Thank you, everyone who joined the Twitch stream today. It was an exciting 2-0 victory for Iron Chefs. Tune in this weekend. We got a lot more games, including my game. I don't know if it's being streamed, but we'll figure that out later. But that's it for us. Everyone, have a good night and stay safe.
Bye.